Hi there. In this video, we're going to be looking at marketing as a management process. Firstly, what is marketing? Well, put simply, marketing is the process of planning, pricing, promoting, and distributing products in order to meet the needs and wants of present and potential customers. Now, that's very important, the present and potential customer part, because you're not just trying to satisfy the needs and wants of existing customers, but you also want to try and entice new customers into purchasing your product. That's one way that a business can increase market share, can increase growth, and can maximize profit by tapping into new markets and reaching new customers. So, as I said, the role of marketing is to maximize profits by putting the customer at the center of its thinking. Essentially, without customers, a business cannot make money because they cannot find people to sell to. So it stands to reason that the customer is at the center of its thinking. Now, the first sort of stage of marketing here is to identify the target markets. Now, a target market is simply a group of customers with similar characteristics. So it could be their ages, it could be where they live, it could be their gender. Now, within that, businesses can implement a mass market approach, which is really to just try and get the largest amount of customers as possible. It's things that anyone can access regardless of the age, gender, income, their location. They can implement a market segmentation approach. This divides the total market into divisions of similar consumers. Now, this is where they break it down and say this product is aimed at everyone between the ages of 18 and 35, or everyone who's a male, or everyone who lives in New South Wales. But it's broken up to people with similar characteristics. And then a step down from that is a niche market. Now, this is a narrowly selected target market. So this is not only taking people with similar characteristics, but making it very, very narrow. So it could be men between the ages of 18 and 20 that live specifically in southwest Sydney. That is how specific they may be when it comes to targeting potential and present consumers. Now, there's 4 Ps of marketing, and this is the very first, product. Now, this refers to the product's quality, its design as well, so what it looks like, does it meet the needs and wants of consumers, does it do what the product says it will do, its name, its packaging, its labeling, its features, so really the actual product itself. It also deals with product positioning, so where is the product in relation to its competitors in terms of the perception that people have of it? Is it seen as the leader in that particular industry? Is it seen as the cheap option? Is it seen as the quality one? And it also has to do with branding. Logos and branding are extremely important for products because it gives people, consumers, something to think about when it comes to the product without even having to think about the product. Take McDonald's for example. You see golden arches, you immediately think about McDonald's. Apple, you see a picture of an apple with a little bite taken out of it. You already know that it's an Apple product, regardless if someone says, this is an iPhone, this is a MacBook, this is an iPad. You already know it's Apple. Now, the second P of the marketing mix is price. Now, there are a number of different methods a business can use to price its products. The first can be the cost plus margin method. Now, what this does is it takes the total cost of production and it adds a percentage on top as the profit. So it could be $100 for the item. They might add 100% on top for the profit. That means that they are actually selling the product for $200. $100 was the cost of production, and then another $100 will be their profit. Now, they can also use the market price method. This prices according to what the free market will bear. This is based on demand and supply. If there is a lot of one certain product on the market already, then you can't really charge too much because people can easily access it elsewhere for a lower price. Having said that, a business that controls a certain product can restrict the supply of it, thus forcing people to really compete for it, meaning that they will be willing to pay a lot more for the product. So it's based on what the free market will bear, so really based on what people are willing to pay for it. We've got competitors' price. So this way, a business prices their product either below, equal to, or above what their competitors are pricing. And they may do that for a number of different reasons. If they price below a competitor, it could be to undercut them, so try and take away their customers. If it's equal to, it can simply be to ensure that they are seen as being a viable option to the competitor. Or if it's above the competitor, it could be because they want to show customers that they are better than their competitors. And another way that they can price is through discount pricing. And this is to stimulate sales. They offer people a low price for a certain amount of time. It brings customers in. They've managed to stimulate their sales, and hopefully that keeps going when they eventually do increase their price. The third P of the marketing mix is promotion. Now, this is really trying to make people aware of the product. Now, this can be through personal selling, so a message that suits individual needs. So you may go into a department store and you may ask about a pair of jeans, and they will give you individual tailored advice just for you. They may talk about the size, the shape, the style, the color, but it's only for you. They can't really advertise the same size or the same cut of jean to everybody in Australia when everybody is going to have a different size and fit into a pair of jeans differently. So it's really personalized. We've got the sales promotion method. Now, this is activities to attract interest. So things like free samples, offering coupons, loyalty programs. Take for example, Woolworths rewards or flybys. Or it could even be something as simple as a little card that gets punched every time you go to a local coffee shop. You buy 5 coffees, you get one free. But it's there to promote sales. It keeps you coming back more and more and more. We've also got publicity. Now, this is to enhance the image of the product. Now, usually businesses will aim for positive publicity because any negative publicity may damage the reputation and then damage the sales. So they're aiming for positive publicity, normally free, if possible. Okay? And then advertising. This is to create demand for the product through mass media, billboards, radio, newspapers, television. Just getting the message of the product out there to as many people as possible. And the final P of the marketing mix is place. Basically, how does the product get from the manufacturer to the consumer? So the channels of distribution. So there's 3 main ways this can happen. This is from producer to customer. It's a very simple method. There's no intermediaries, no middlemen. And this is mainly for services. You go to get your taxes done. The customer goes straight to the tax agent. The taxes are done at the same place, at the same time, and the customer can leave. You don't go to a shopping centre, order taxes to be done, or buy taxes to be done, and then go and collect them later on. So this is a very simple method. Goes from producer to customer. This can also be made a bit more complicated, I guess, by the adding in of an intermediary, where it goes to producer, to a retailer, to a customer. Now, this uses sort of a middleman or an intermediary who buys from the producer and then sells to the customer. So take, for example, a greengrocer or a fruit and veg store. The grocer will go to the market, they'll buy X amount of kilos of fruit, X amount of kilos of vegetables, they'll advertise them in a certain way for the customer, who then goes and buys, you know, one or two apples, one or two oranges, couple of cucumbers. They're not going straight to the farmer's market to do it. They're doing it at the retailer who's already gone to the farmer's market and selected the best produce for them already. So there's a middleman involved. The most common method, however, is using a producer, going to a wholesaler, then moving to a retailer, and then going to the customer. So what this means is basically a wholesaler would go to the producer, buy in bulk, thus saving money because they're buying in bulk. We use the example of coffee here, just for the sake of the argument here. So wholesaler will go to the producer of coffee beans and buy, say, 1 ton of coffee beans, roasted coffee beans. What the wholesaler does then is they will take that 1 ton of roasted coffee beans and put them into individual 100-gram bags, put their logo or their brand on it, and then they'll sell those 100-gram bags to the retailer, to Coles, to IGA, to Woolworths, where the customer can then buy. So the customer isn't buying 1 ton of roasted coffee beans, they're buying a 100-gram bag. Now, with this, however, means that the customer is going to be paying a lot more, because they are paying for the convenience of not having to go to the producer and buy large quantities of coffee, doing it all themselves, grinding it themselves and whatnot. They're paying for the convenience, they're paying for the brand of coffee as well. So this is the most cost-effective method for the wholesaler, but probably the most expensive for the consumer. So I hope that this very brief introduction into marketing as a management process has given you enough information to understand how marketing works, to try and maximize profit and maximize growth for a business. Thank you.